you are looking ahead to how people are going to be opening their pocketbooks. How will AI really start to show itself in terms of where people are spending in retail?
Right. I think first and foremost, I tried this my first in November when it got, started trending on Twitter or whatever. And I was like, what's this thing? And I got to tell you, it was magic to me. I felt like when I opened the internet the first time 20 years ago. So I think it's, super impressive. I instantly got in touch with Sam and I said, look, I want Klarna to be your favorite guinea pig over at OpenAI. You throw it at us, we'll try it, we'll learn. And I think that's the way to deal with these things. When you see a dramatic shift like this, you just want to learn, iterate, and understand it. And I even coded myself on the LangChain the other day, so I feel quite cold. Never done that before. It was one of my biggest regrets. I never became an engineer. With that said, look, I think what's very clear here is that the tool is out there. The applications that are really changing things are not yet, but they're going to come in the next 6 to 12 months. We are going to see better shopping experiences, shopping assistance, providing you a higher conversion rate for the retailers, assisting consumers to find better prices, better offers, etc. So I'm expecting to see an explosion of new tools and services coming in the next 12 months, which will utilize this technology to provide a much richer and more accurate experience for consumers. So super, super interesting to follow. And also there seems to be, as the study shows of ours, a huge big opening among consumers. They're willing to try and test these things. And they also believe that it can make a difference for them.
When I think about kind of the evolution of retail, we had kind of the malls start to bring things together on a regional basis or a town-based basis. Then we had online shopping where you could buy anything from anywhere. Then the e-commerce players showed up. But that's kind of evolved to this world where you almost have too much choice, right? If you log on to any of the e-commerce platforms, it's almost hard to narrow down if you don't know exactly what you're looking for. So is that kind of a problem that you expect some of those early applications might be a really kind of low-hanging fruit one to solve when it comes to bringing AI in, perhaps to help folks discover things based on their own preferences a little bit more easily?
I think you're totally spot on. Look, remember when you were living in, like I did, in a small city of 200,000 people growing up there was one department store and they had very nicely curated everything we needed to buy for us. So everything was there and we didn't need to look elsewhere. And nowadays you're overwashed with all this stuff. But I think in general, you should think about retail as three things. You think about the products and the brand themselves. You think about the curation. And then you think about the technology and the logistics to bring the product to the consumer at the time they want it and at the right price and so forth, right? And I think on the curation side, internet has gone crazy, right? We've seen everything from Instagram shopping, shoppable valuables, Instagram people trying to affect you to or influencers recommending products, but also obviously the retailers and the brands themselves trying to curate. I think the curation, to your point, is one of the areas that is a huge opportunity to offer better creation. We launched search in the US. There's been nobody launching search in the US against Amazon for the last 15 years, and we're seeing tremendous traction to reinvent product search. Just like these things, right? How do you both intent-driven discovery, where you're looking for the exact right product at that right price, etc., but also the kind of inspirational. That's definitely an area where I think, and curation is so critical. I want it to be personal to me, right?
Yeah.
China is a good example of that. In China, it's nowadays, it used to be 80% search, 20% was recommendations by AI. Currently, 80% of what people buy on Tmall, etc., are recommendations by AI that are specific to me as an individual and not search anymore. So that just shows you what this technology can mean as a shift.
Yeah, and certainly making things more efficient in the process. Google CEO wrote in an op-ed recently that building AI responsibly is the only race that matters, as opposed to building up your AI chops. And he also brought up regulation there, too. What are you seeing as some of the potential problems or pitfalls or areas that might be concerning that would result from the use or integration of AI in shopping, for instance, in your world?
Well, I think as also, since we're a payments company, obviously fraud is a big aspect to us, right? And we can see that this is going to have implications on fraud protection. I think there's a lot, I think on a societal level, as a society, and I respect that a lot when I speak to people, tech leaders. I am very happy to hear them not only promote the amazing opportunities that this presents, but also kind of highlight the risks. and that we treat this in a mindful way. But that's more from a society perspective. If I think more of my business, I think there's one critical thing that could actually make a huge difference from politicians. In some markets in Europe, Sweden is a good example where I'm based currently, we have an electronic identification that is available to everyone. Everyone has it on the phone. That means there is no fraud. There is no problems with people pretending to be somebody else. There's much less fraud than in many other markets that we see. It's a simple thing, a digital passport, a digital identification. And I think another law that we should expect to see is if I interact with something, I want to know if it's a computer or a human. Like, I think you have the responsibility to be very, very transparent about that. So I think those are two very simple things that could actually mitigate some of the early risks and changes that, to your point, AI will bring.
There are people who are out there who might say that Klarna is pivoting towards AI and a commitment to AI as regulation comes forth on buy now, pay later in Australia, for instance, and potentially in the UK as well. How would you respond to that?
Forget it. No, but I think, look, buy now, pay later is a fantastic credit product for consumers. Because, everyone should watch, sorry to make some marketing here for somebody else here, but you should watch Credit Cards Explained on Netflix, and you get a 25-minute quick summary of all the bad practices, of all the stuff that banks have been doing with credit cards, how they really try you to build up the biggest balance, to revolve on it on the longest period of time. I mean, the average balance in the US right now stands at $5,300 compared to $150 for our buy now, pay later products. So I think that, it's interest-free, it's fixed installments. We don't push a credit limit in your face to try to make you believe that you can spend more than you have. I mean, we're trying to build a responsible credit product. No, it's still credit. So obviously, credit has risks in itself and needs to be offered in a responsible way. But as a credit form, it is superior to the credit cards. And it's actually also better for us in an uncertain economical environment because we underwrite every transaction. That's why we're seeing 40% below credit card industry standard losses. Because when we shift our underwriting, it takes me 2 months, and half of my balance sheet is underwriting on the new methodology. So I can really quickly change to an economical environment like this one. While banks will wait 2 years before they see the shift in their balance sheet due to the changes in underwriting.
Sebastian, I want to ask one more quick one on AI, because we've been talking about that. The race is on. The race is probably also on for talent. I know you jumped in really quickly to work with OpenAI, but what does hiring look like internally at Klarna? Where are you finding kind of the individuals who can make sure that type of technology can be seamlessly tested and integrated into what you're rolling out for consumers?
You know what? I think it's obviously an important question. And obviously, data scientists and so forth are in higher demand. I wouldn't say that's the case, but I also want to get, again, how much this is just about, curiosity and encouraging people within your culture to innovate and to try and to test. One way that I measure right now at Klarna's AI involvement is we offer all of our employees a ChatGPT-4 powered OpenAI account. And we're just looking at how many are actually using it. And I think right now we're at about 1,500 among 5,000 employees. I want to get to 5,000. I want each one of them to experiment and learn how to utilize this technology. I mean, it took years for people to really discover the power of Google back 20 years ago and how much that could, save you time and make you more efficient and more productive. So, I think also, one shouldn't underestimate just encouraging and inspiring people internally to adopt, to iterate, to try.